Hello everyone. Today I'd like to share with you my setting of Psalm 145, which is My Soul Give Praise. It's the psalm that comes up actually this coming Sunday, and it comes up a number of times in the lectionary and under different responses. This coming week it's My Soul Give Praise to the Lord, or simply Alleluia. So a number of composers have set this, and actually I was just looking at my own piece, and I've set Psalm 145 three times, would you believe? So anyway, this is the setting for today. So it's scored for cantor, assembly, SAB choir. Once again, those SAB choir pieces, they're always very useful. There's an optional violin line and piano, although as ever, it should work quite well on the organ. So let's just have a quick look at it. It was written for Derek Darby, Father Derek Darby. He was installed as pastor of Ashburn, our home parish, Ashburn Dunamore Parish, a number of years ago. And we have a refrain just intoned by the cantor, and then the three-part refrain comes in, and you'll notice that there's a descant, and a descant comes in at the end. I've lost my little mouse, there it is. So descant, you never really introduce a descant until maybe the last refrain. So there's our little refrain, 4-bar refrain, with just a little extension just there at the end, and then into verses. So the three verses are actually very similar. Verse 1, 2 are for solo cantor, and then verse 3 is actually for two cantors. So you get this little kind of this little harmony at the sixth or at the third, pretty much going through. But it follows the melody of the first two verses. It's a very interesting psalm. Theologically, the psalm acts as a bridge. I don't know, did you ever notice, or did you ever notice this? But if you're looking closely at the readings, you have the first reading, the psalm, the second reading, and then the gospel. The psalm acts as a bridge between the first reading and the gospel. So if you look at the first reading for this coming Sunday, the first reading is where Elijah asks the widow, the poor, desperately poor widow, for a little bit of bread. And she said, look, I've nothing. But he says basically, look, trust in the Lord will provide. So she goes and bakes him a loaf of bread, and of course there is enough. And then in the gospel, Jesus praises the widow for her offering to the temple, the little parable or the little story of the widow's mite, that she offers just barely what she can afford, which is worth so much more than the wealthy of the time. So where do we find that? Where do we find a little link? Well, we find it in verse 3, that God upholds the widow and orphan. So there's the link between the Old Testament reading, the first reading, and the gospel. So if you're involved in music ministry, or if you're involved in pastoral liturgy, keep an eye out over the next few weeks for those little links. Sometimes you have to look hard, sometimes you have to kind of think laterally. Other times they'll really jump out, and this is one of the psalms that where it really jumps out, that the psalm indeed is the link between the first reading and the gospel. So what we're going to do today is I will play through the just first refrain, and then we'll take a look at two of the verses. So the refrain is there if you want to take a look at it and sing along. More than welcome to. And as ever, it's available from Cherrybrook Music. My soul, give praise to the Lord. My soul, give praise to the Lord. Into verse 1. It is God who keeps faith forever, who is just to those who are oppressed. It is God who gives bread to the hungry, the Lord who sets prisoners free. My soul, give praise to the Lord. My soul, give praise to the Lord. God upholds the widow and orphan, but thwarts the path of the wicked. The Lord will reign forever. Zion's God psalm begins in A minor, but ends in C major. And along the way we have this kind of F, this kind of jazzy chord. It's kind of nice. I don't think we hear enough jazzy chords in church, but there we go. And it comes in, that little chord is linked there. It comes into the verses as well. There's another little link there that in verse 1, it is God who gives bread to the hungry. And of course, that's in the first reading that the Elijah asks the widow for bread. So I hope you enjoyed that. As I said, it's available from Cherrybrook Music, and it might help you this coming weekend. Or as I said, it's a useful little common psalm. So if you don't do the psalm of the day, just look for a psalm that has kind of general usage, and of course a psalm of praise such as this would be regarded as one of the common psalms for ordinary time. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks very much, and enjoy the rest of your day. Take care now. Bye bye.